There comes a moment, often unnoticed by the senses, but deeply felt by the soul, when all of creation seems to hold its breath. That moment is now. For the universe, in its infinite wisdom and unwavering obedience to your innermost assumptions, is poised to deliver to you everything you have dared to desire. This is not a promise born of external effort or worldly striving. It is the law of being, the eternal truth that what you believe to be true of yourself and your world becomes your experience. You are not a mere spectator in this divine theater. You are the playwright, the actor, and the stage upon which your drama unfolds. The universe is not something outside of you, it is within you, responsive to every thought, every feeling, every conviction that you nurture in the silence of your imagination. What you assume to be true, with feeling, persists until it hardens into fact. This is not about wishful thinking or idle daydreams. It is about the deliberate and conscious use of the greatest creative force you possess, your imagination. When used with faith, imagination becomes the bridge between the invisible and the visible, the unseen and the seen. The world around you bends and reshapes itself in accordance with your inner state. Change your conception of yourself, and you change the circumstances of your life. Now is the time to discard the lie that you are separate from your desires. The very longing you feel is evidence that the thing longed for already exists and that you are meant to possess it. Desire is the voice of your higher self, calling you to remember who you truly are, the operant power, the divine imaginer, the consciousness through which all things are made manifest. Do not look to others, to signs, or to the outer world for validation. Look within. Dwell in the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Live from it, not toward it. This is the secret of creation, that you already are what you seek to become. When you accept this as truth and persist in that assumption, all of heaven and earth rearranges itself to mirror your belief. In this moment, as you listen with an open heart, know this: the universe is not preparing to deliver what you want, it already has. The delivery is not delayed, it is only waiting for your acceptance. There is no power that can oppose the conviction of a soul awakened to its own creative authority. The fulfillment of your desire is inevitable the moment you claim it in consciousness. So let us begin, not in search, but in knowing, not in effort, but in surrender, not in waiting, but in being. For the universe is not about to deliver, it is delivering now. And all that remains is for you to receive what has always been yours. You are not a passive recipient of life. You are its source, its author, its creative center. Everything that you see, everything you experience, flows outward from the beliefs you hold within. This is the foundational truth that underlies all creation. Your inner world creates your outer world. What you assume to be true of yourself, what you feel to be real deep within your heart, becomes the very fabric of your external reality. You are not subject to fate, chance, or external forces beyond your control. You are the one writing the script. Life does not happen to you, it happens through you. This is not metaphorical, but literal. Consciousness is the only reality. The world you experience is consciousness, objectified. That means your present conditions are nothing more than the outpicturing of your previous inner states. Everything begins in thought, in imagination, in the silent conversations you hold with yourself when no one else is around. These are not idle thoughts or fleeting notions. They are seeds, and every seed bears fruit after its kind. You cannot plant fear and harvest peace. You cannot dwell in lack and manifest abundance. But when you understand that you are the sower, the soil, and the sun, then you see clearly. Everything begins with you. This is not a burden. It is freedom, for it means you are not bound by your past. You are not trapped by your upbringing, your current circumstances, or the opinions of others. The moment you assume a new concept of yourself, a new story, a new belief, the universe begins its perfect, invisible work of aligning itself with that assumption. And it does so without fail, for the universe has no will of its own. It only echoes back what you persistently believe to be true. You are not required to figure out how it will happen. The how is the domain of the unseen intelligence that shapes all things. Your role is to imagine, to feel, to know. You must step into the feeling of already being what you desire to be and refuse to waver from that state. Do not wait for evidence. Your assumption is the evidence. Persist in it long enough, and the world will bend to mirror your new identity. It has no choice. Even the challenges you face, the delays, the seeming failures, they are not there to punish you. They are feedback. They are showing you what you are still assuming, what story you are still clinging to within. Change the story, change your assumptions, and your world must change, because it is you. The greatest illusion is that the world exists independently of you. But when you awaken to the truth that you are the operant power, everything changes. You no longer plead with the universe, you command with love. You no longer chase what you want, you become it. And when you do, life responds in kind, not out of chance, but out of law. A law that is unchanging, perfect, and always working for the one who knows who they truly are. Imagination is not a fanciful escape from reality. It is the very womb of reality itself. Everything you see around you, everything you interact with in the world, first originated in the unseen realm of thought and imagination. Long before it became tangible, it was invisible. Every invention, every relationship, every event you've experienced, both good and bad, was once imagined, either consciously. Imagination is the workshop of the divine within you. It is not something you use just for art or dreams. It is the instrument of creation, the power by which worlds are formed. When used deliberately and with faith, imagination is the bridge between the invisible and the visible. It is the only pathway through which the formless becomes form. Most people believe they must act first, work harder, or push through resistance in order to achieve their goals. They live reactively, believing the world is fixed and that they must fight against it to create any kind of change. But the truth is far more profound and far more liberating. Everything begins with a feeling, a mental picture, a moment of inner conviction. Imagination is the first act of creation. Action is only the echo. What you imagine with belief becomes inevitable. You don't have to chase your desires in the world. You embody them inwardly, and the world will chase you with confirmation of that embodiment. You must learn to walk by faith, not by sight. That means you must feel the reality of your desire before the outer world shows you any sign of its arrival. You close your eyes and dwell in the state of the wish fulfilled. You don't simply see it, you feel it, taste it, live from it. You surrender to the inner vision, no matter what your senses tell you. The moment you commit to the feeling of having it now, your imagination begins to work in silence, orchestrating the perfect sequence of events that will lead to the physical manifestation of your desire. It may appear as coincidence, luck, or chance, but it is none of these. It is law, spiritual law. Operating through the medium of your focused imagination, the outer world is slow to respond, like a shadow following your body. But it will follow, it must. The only delay is your own disbelief, your own tendency to imagine what you don't want with equal power. Every time you worry, rehearse failure, dwell on what's missing, or replay a past wound, you are using your imagination, just unconsciously and against yourself. But the moment you become aware that you are always imagining, you awaken. And in that awakening you are free. You can now imagine on purpose. You can plant only what you wish to harvest. You become the deliberate creator of your world. Imagination doesn't ask for proof. It gives the proof. It asks only for your faith, for your willingness to believe in the unseen is more real than the seen. The senses will lie to you. They will tell you that you are still without, that nothing has changed. But your imagination will speak truth. It will show you the end. And if you persist in that vision, if you return to it over and over until it becomes natural, your outer world will eventually conform. It has no choice. Imagination, when filled with feeling and sustained with faith, becomes the law of life. It is the sacred bridge through which all your desires must travel. And when you walk it, knowing who you are and what you possess within, you become unstoppable. Not because you fight the world, but because you no longer need to. The world you perceive through your senses is not fixed, objective, or separate from you. It is a mirror, a living reflection of your innermost beliefs, assumptions, and emotions. Everything around you, your circumstances, the people you encounter, the opportunities that come or seem to slip away, is not happening by chance. It is all a direct, precise, and faithful response to the state of consciousness you consistently occupy. This is not theory. It is spiritual law. The universe is not responding to your words, your efforts, or even your desperate prayers. It is responding to your state of being. And your state of being is determined by what you truly believe to be true, especially about yourself. You do not attract what you want. You attract what you are. You attract what you assume. Your inner state is like a magnetic field, drawing to you people, events, and situations that match the vibration of your beliefs. If you are constantly dwelling in feelings of lack, worry, or unworthiness, then the world has no choice but to echo those frequencies in the form of delays, obstacles, and missed opportunities. On the other hand, when you rest in the conviction that you are already abundant, already loved, already successful, when you live from the end rather than chasing it, the world must conform. It doesn't have a choice, because the world is not separate from you. This truth can feel confronting, even uncomfortable at first, because it means taking full responsibility for your reality. No more blaming the economy, your upbringing, your partner, or bad luck. But within that responsibility lies your greatest power. Because if your current reality is the result of old assumptions, then it can be changed. All of it. There is no condition so fixed, no pattern so stubborn that it cannot be revised. The only thing that needs to shift is you, not in some external sense, but in your consciousness, in the assumptions you habitually accept as truth. People often ask, how can I make the world change? But that is the wrong question. The world is changing constantly, moment by moment. What you must ask is, how can I change what I'm assuming? Because when your assumptions change, everything else changes automatically. You don't have to manipulate the world, convince others, or struggle to be seen. You only have to step into the state of already being what you desire to be. Let the feeling of that reality saturate your mind, your emotions, your imagination. Let it become so natural, so familiar that you no longer need proof. It simply feels like the truth. And here's the miracle. When that shift happens within, you'll find that the world reorganizes itself effortlessly around you. People will behave differently, new paths will open, coincidences will guide you, the universe, which is always listening, will rush to confirm your new state of being. It will do this not because you forced it, but because it must. It is law. The outer world is clay, and your consciousness is the mold. What you assume inwardly is impressed upon that clay until it takes form. So don't waste time battling appearances. Appearances are only echoes. Go straight to the source, your own consciousness. Nurture the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Occupy that inner space again and again until it becomes your dwelling place. Because the moment you make a new assumption your home, the world will arrive at your doorstep, carrying proof of what you've always had within. Desire is not a random feeling, nor is it a form of suffering or lack. It is not something you must suppress, deny, or feel guilty for. In truth, Desire is a sacred whisper from your higher self, a divine nudge from the infinite intelligence within you, pointing you toward the greater reality that already exists. When you feel a genuine, persistent desire, one that moves you, that stirs something deep inside, it is not evidence of what you are missing. It is proof of what is already yours in the unseen realm of consciousness. Desire is not a sign of separation. It is a sign of union. You could not long for something unless it already existed for you. This world teaches that desire is a gap between where you are and where you want to be. But this is a misunderstanding rooted in material thinking. In spiritual truth, desire is a bridge. It connects the visible and the invisible, the present and the eternal. It is the echo of fulfillment calling back to you. And when you truly understand this, you no longer chase after your desires as if they are distant. You realize they are within you now, waiting for your recognition and acceptance. Desire is not something to reach for. It is something to claim. The moment a desire is born in your heart, its fulfillment is born as well. Both arrive together in perfect unity. The desire is the seed, and the fulfillment is already enclosed within it, much like the full-grown oak is enclosed in the acorn. You are not here to beg the universe to give you something new. You are here to awaken to what is already yours in the invisible. Your work is to align with that inner reality so faithfully, so persistently, that it crystallizes into your external experience. The universe does not withhold. It delivers the moment you believe it already has. This is why you must not judge your desires or talk yourself out of them. They are not foolish. They are not out of reach. They are not accidents. They are instructions from the higher mind, signals pointing you toward your next evolution, your next expression of truth. To feel desire is to hear the voice of your divine self, gently reminding you of your power to imagine, to create, to become. And every time you say yes to that voice, every time you honor your desire by dwelling in the feeling of its fulfillment, you move closer to its manifestation. Many people silence their desires out of fear or conditioning. They've been taught to be realistic, to settle, to expect little. But to desire is to live. It is the language of life itself, inviting you into deeper levels of joy, creativity, and expansion. Do not shrink from what you want. Stand boldly in the awareness that the very presence of your desire is proof that you are meant to receive it. Otherwise, you would not have felt it in the first place. You do not need to know the mechanics, the timeline, or the details of how it will arrive. All that is required is your assumption that it already exists, and your willingness to inhabit that state as though it were already true, because it is. The universe is structured in such a way that your inner world precedes the outer. Your desire is your confirmation. It is already done. And the more you dwell in that certainty, the faster the world will conform to your inner knowing. You are not apart from what you seek. You are one with it. The only journey is the one from doubt to belief, from longing to claiming, from desire to possession. And it all takes place. To live from the end is to step into the sacred art of being before becoming. It means embodying the feeling of your desire already fulfilled, here and now, even when every external condition seems to contradict it. This principle is the key to effortless manifestation. Not wishful thinking, not hoping, not yearning, but being. When you live from the end, you assume the position of one who already possesses what they once sought. You no longer reach out for the dream. You walk as though it is already yours, and in doing so you call it into form. This way of living is not about pretending or faking. It's about aligning your state of consciousness with the version of reality where your desire is already real. When you fully occupy that state, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, you become a vibrational match to it. And just as surely as the sun rises, the physical world responds. The conditions, people, opportunities, and events that support your desire begin to flow into your life, not because you fought for them, but because you became the person for whom they naturally occur.